this louder.
Hi guys, so I'm actually bringing you a different type of video today. It is more of a kind of a review slash experience video for anyone who is curious about the topic. And I know the topic can be a little bit controversial. I just want to put a disclaimer out there that I'm only talking about my own personal experience with waist trainers. This is just an experience video. I'm not an expert. I'm not a physician. I am not a physical therapist. I am not a personal trainer. So keep in mind that if waist trainers work for you, awesome. If they didn't, okay. Everyone has their own opinion, so I just want to put that disclaimer out there before anyone starts attacking me in the comments section. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to be talking about the sports waist trainers that you see all of these Instagram models wearing. I am not talking about corsets. I've never worn a corset, so I cannot speak on it, and it's just not something that I'm personally experienced with. I'm going to be talking specifically about the sports waist trainers. These are used while working out, and it helps you sweat in your midsection. So that is the claim, that it's supposed to be for you when you work out, and that it helps you sweat in your midsection. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna talk about my experience with the waist trainers. Now, the company that I purchased my waist trainer from was Perfect My Silhouette, and that was a very hyped up company on social media. I'm going to show the website for you guys. I used a coupon code from I guess from an Instagram model. I don't even know what they're called. Fitness enthusiast, fitness something, I don't know. But I'm going to show you guys who I got it from. It was Get Bodied by Jay and another IG fitness model, which is Brittany something, Bundle of Brittany, I think it is. So I'm going to show you guys those two people. I'm not bashing in any way, shape, or form these people. The waist trainers apparently work for them, and that's awesome. And they promote these waist trainers all the time and have a huge following on social media. The waist trainers range anywhere from like $45 to $55 to anywhere from like $80, $85, $70. I'm going to show you guys the two types of waist trainers that I personally purchased. I have a regular sports waist trainer that is pretty much the most popular one, and then I have also the vest type of waist trainer, which is a different kind, but they pretty much do the same thing. Now, my reasons for purchasing the waist trainer, I fell into the hype of wanting a smaller waist. You know, you want to be like a Coke bottle, blah blah blah, having an hourglass figure. So I fell into that hype of wanting or needing to have that type of figure, and I thought I could train my waist to be smaller. I didn't think I had a big waist per se, but I did have fat in my midsection that I wanted to get rid of and I was self-conscious about. I wanted to also lose the belly fat, I wanted to lose that area, and I wanted to develop like an abs, like this, the Instagram models. That's what I wanted. So I figured if they're using it, I should use it too to get the same results. That was the mentality. I used it on and off while working out. I would not use it to do abs. I would mainly, like the entire purpose of using it was mainly for cardio. Now, there was some instances where I was using it while I was strength training, and it wasn't something that really hindered my movement. Now, I know that the one thing that I could not do was do abs. Also would wear it throughout the workday, but that became very difficult because you do sweat and it does become uncomfortable to wear throughout the workday. And then sometimes it is noticeable, especially in the summer when you're wearing less layers. It is very noticeable that you have a waist trainer on, especially because they're bright neon colors. Like some of them come in like pink, blue, purple, whatever, leopard print. Yeah, so it's something that you can't necessarily hide per se unless you're wearing layers. My smallest waist size that I ever got while using the waist trainer was a 28.5-inch waist. Now, that is not the smallest, that is not the largest, but I only lost about 1 inch off of my waist using this waist trainer. So keep that in mind, guys. The results were not at all permanent. They are very temporary, and these models, some of them do emphasize that if you do not continue to use the waist trainer, your waist is going to go back to its regular size. The issue is that we have a lot of people here in our society, especially women, who are purchasing these items, who are thinking that this is going to be their magic pill. You know, this is going to be what's going to fix their waist, what's going to slim down their waist. And it does, but it is not a permanent thing. Once you stop using the waist trainer, once you stop, you know, wearing it, once you stop working out, once you stop eating healthy, your waist is going to go back to its original size, to whatever size it was before you started waist training. Now I'm going to break down the pros and cons of the waist trainers, okay? So I'm not completely bashing them. Everyone uses it for its own purpose. Now I'm going to go through the pros and then I'm going to list the cons. Now the pros were that it did correct my back posture. It did make a noticeable change of me standing up straight because it forces you in that stand up straight position. It made me sweat a lot during my workout, especially in my midsection. So that's something that to keep in mind, especially if you're using like maybe like a cream to make you sweat even more, or a little saran wrap underneath the waist trainer, you're going to sweat a lot. And so it does help with that. Another pro is that it did make my waist look smaller temporarily. Those are the 3 pros. Now let's go to the cons. The con. So one of the biggest cons for me is that it did prevent me from breathing fully in my workout. Like I did feel like sometimes I was completely out of breath. And I know people are gonna say, well, maybe you were wearing the wrong size. No, I was wearing the right size, because if I wore a bigger size, it was really, really loose. I knew that it was the waist trainer that was preventing me from breathing. And it, even when I was doing my cardio, if I was running or doing the Stairmaster or the elliptical, I would sometimes cramp up in my stomach and abdominal area while I was wearing the waist trainer, which I thought was really, really weird. The construction of the waist trainers, depending on what company you get, sometimes is good and sometimes is not so good. After a while, the waist trainer is going to break apart. That means that you're going to have to spend another 50 to 80, however expensive or however much you bought your waist trainer for another replacement. So you're gonna have to consistently change your waist trainers. So that's something to keep in mind, guys, that you will have to most likely keep replacing this waist trainer for your lifetime if you decide to go this route. And the biggest con too is that it did not decrease my waist size to the extent that I wanted it to. I started off at about like a 29-inch waist, wanted to get down to 26, 27, and it did not get me down to that. Even with wearing it consistently, wearing it for sometimes more than 8 hours, it just did not do what it said it was going to do. It was a very temporary thing where it decreased my waist size temporarily, but it did not get me down to where I want it to be. It also shut off my ab muscles. When you're wearing this waist trainer, it's like basically it's like sucking in your stomach, and so it's sucking in everything and it's pushing everything like very, very tight, okay? And so when you're doing certain activities, you need your abs to be fired up. You need your abs to be on, to have that connection, that mind muscle connection with all of your movements, especially if you're squatting, if you're deadlifting, whatever movements that you're doing. Even when you're doing cardio, it is very, very important for your abs to be on. And this waist trainer really, you could tell that you were putting so much pressure on that it was turning them off. It wasn't really allowing them to really work. And in turn, personally, I feel that because of them being shut off, it prevented me from getting the ab definition that I personally wanted. Another huge con is that they can be really expensive. Not everyone has 50, 45, 80, however expensive amount of dollars to be throwing every so often in order to buy a waist trainer. And you have to understand that the waist trainers will break apart, the waist trainers will get stinky, will get just disgusting. You will have to replace your waist trainer. And so you're gonna be ending up paying a substantial amount of money for a garment that may or may not work for you. Another huge con, and this is only for the vest waist trainer, is that it prevented me from doing certain movements. You need all your mobility in order to do certain movements. And with the vest, personally for myself, it prevented me from using my shoulders a lot and my back. It kind of shut off my shoulders and back. So that's the thing, that if you're concerned about that, like when you're squatting, I felt like my shoulder wasn't really in the position it needed to be. Things weren't tight enough. It just didn't really work out for me, and I felt like it hindered me from doing certain movements. months. Do I think that these waist trainers are worth the money? No, I honestly do not. And I'm sorry to say that for people who this is their thing. You know, it just did not work for me. It was a waste of money. And now looking back at it, I'm just, you know, kind of upset at myself that I fell into the hype. But as someone who was influenced by other people who are huge on social media, who have a huge social media following, and seeing them promote and wear these items, it's a huge blower because it didn't work for me, and that's fine. One, I'm going to tell you guys that waist size is completely genetic. I know we want to train our waist and stuff like that, but it is completely genetic. If your body type is not meant to have a small waist, the likelihood of you getting down to a 26-inch waist or a 24-inch, however little you want it, is very unlikely unless you do something super crazy like go underneath the knife or something that is just not, you know, regularly normal or just possible through working out. Okay, ladies, I'm sorry to burst your bubble if you wanted something like a crazy video on my results, but I unfortunately do not think it is worth the hype. Okay, I'm sorry. I know this is not something that you wanted to hear, but I just want to inform people that it may or may not work for you, and that maybe you should think twice before investing in some. My own personal experience, guys, this is what, for me, this is why it didn't work for me. Now, everyone's goals are different. If you are not into looking a certain way or having certain muscle mass and all you care about is having a small waist, you don't really care about building lean muscle or having like abs or defined abs, and maybe the waist trainer will work for you. Maybe it will. But it didn't work for me, and it didn't work for my goals, and I just wanted to let you guys know. I wanted to inform you ladies before you spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on waist trainers that just don't work. Okay, guys? So if you like the video, please hit that like button, guys. It really helps me out tons. And it also lets me know that you guys like these kinds of videos. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Comment in the section down below. I would love to hear your suggestions. If waist trainers worked for you, let me know in the comment section down below. I am not opposed to waist trainers whatsoever. It just didn't work for me. But if it did work for you, let the ladies know down below, you know, your honest opinions about it, or what worked for you. So I hope you guys got something out of it, and don't forget to subscribe if you would like to continue seeing things like this and continue seeing me on my journey to powerlifting and just weightlifting and just strength training and just what I eat, etc., etc. So yeah, guys, hope to see you in the next one. Bye.